That's my fault. Amateur mistake. God, it's such a long day. Let me tell you guys. The last 48 hours have just been absolutely killer for me. And I'll probably be editing that last bit out of that video. And this part, I guess. Just gonna edit it all out. Anyway. Oh, I didn't button up my shirt. Nah. Let's start over. Okay. Should be able to hear me now. Let's record this Bitcoin analysis, yeah? So, what to do about Bitcoin? Jesus. We have really well-defined pivots on the 4-hour and 1-hour chart, which is Gucci, and I have open orders to attempt to get those pivots. I'll point them out to you now. On the 4-hour chart, our longest overexpanded period, right? Our distributional length with the most, or rather the highest reading of excessive distributional width, right? That's what we're looking for. At this time, it's currently 225 as defined by the 4-hour chart. 225. So, okay, we're gonna load up that 225 band. Zoom in on that price. Hopefully with minimal lag. Ah, very nice. So, we have this really nicely defined pivot right here. This is actually where I took my last log. Yeah, it's just right on the pivot. You know, this pivot has been really well defined. It just so happens that our previous longest overexpanded period, which was this reading right here, it respected the pivot 4 times in a row. And I kind of realized, instead of just trying to short when we activate the mean inversion condition, why not just take long positions as long as we're above the mean inversion pivot? Like, we have a defined trend. You might as well bet on the defined trend. Like, waiting for the trend to end so you can bet against it is suboptimal. At least that's the conclusion I've come to. So when the bearish condition does activate, then in that scenario, awesome. We can legitimately bet against trend because, well, the trend is over. But with what we currently have here, it is questionable, to say the least, to try anything in the short scenario on the 4-hour chart, just looking at the data on the 4-hour chart. All right. However, if we poke our noses down to the 1-hour chart, we get something interesting. And before I say that, I just want to point out one thing. If we enter this pivot right here, the purple band, price will go down to this mean with around a back-tested 95% probability. Whether that happens through a lateral move where price just goes sideways and then the mean travels up to meet price, or the mean can travel, or rather price can travel down to meet the mean. Yeah, just based on this most recent move, longest overexpanded period is 225. So if you want to put in the 225 period on the 1.25 standard deviation, you're going to get that band, and it's going to respect the pivot very cleanly. Okay? I have a YouTube comment from Kat that says the longest overexpanded period is currently 605. Man, are you just talking about the volatility overfed from all the way over here? Because I'm hesitant to take that reading. You know, you could define each plume of mass individually for each section of the trend and then use it to get each compressionary period, an expansionary period, and compressionary period, an expansionary period, right? I'm inclined to do that. Sure, and you know, if I really want to consolidate mass readings, I'm just going to do the daily and use the daily chart to define our longest overexpanded period for longest term trend. In which case, we've never left upward trend, right? It just depends what time frame you're on to try to define your pivots. Like, so here, right, current pivot is 130. Or let me open the data window so I get it perfect. 125. Okay, cool. Right, so longest overexpanded period in this scenario is 125. So, all right, we use that to define trend, and lo and behold, trend is defined as defined by the daily. Goodness. It's a clean reading. Happy to see it. That's it. That's all I wanted to say about the daily chart. I do think this is alt season now, as long as you don't make any significant higher highs, which, just in terms of probability, is super unlikely. Right? I just expect us to compress and go sideways and have the market form a flag, if you will. Right? Because all this compression is good. It restores the market to a state of potential energy. And high potential energy, well, that results in significant trends. So, we've had significant trend. We are still defined in trend as defined by the daily. But on our lower time frames, like the 4-hour chart, it's important to note the trend's not really defined anymore. It's over. That was completely incorrect. Excuse me. As defined by the 1-hour chart, the trend is completely over. For now. And I can define that for you pretty cleanly. We can take a look at our longest overexpanded period as defined by the 1-hour chart. And in this scenario, it is a comfy cozy... I think it's just the 100 period. Yeah, 100 period. So we're going to pop in the 100 period this time, and we're going to get some more interesting results. 100. Very clean. So... get that nice and loaded up. All neat and even. Perfect. So, same rules apply. If we have a longest overexpanded period, like in this scenario, which is the purple band, if we go inside the purple band, it softly implies it will return to the center of the distribution. Not because the mean magically draws price to it. That's incorrect. Right? Mean inversions are technically not a requirement of mean inversion conditions, which is pretty ridiculous. Right? If a mean inversion condition activates, it means the following thing. Price will trade laterally as defined by its 1.25 standard deviation. Right? So, this clean pivot here, like so, will contain price until the following scenario happens. Until our 100 period, right? Because that's our longest overexpanded period. If it compresses down to the 100 value, or the 0.7 value, below the 0.7 value on the 3D wave PM, which in turn is actually green, right? If the 100 period turns green, that means trend is over, or the compression is over, excuse me. All right, Kat says, longest overexpanded period on the 1 hour chart is 1080. Man, I'm looking at the short-term collections. I want to see trend, compression, trend, compression, trend, compression. That's what I'm trading right now. If I want to look at macro level trend, I'm just going to bite the bullet on the lower resolution and go to a higher time frame. However, I will put it in for 1080. Okay. Yeah, do this. It's fine, right? Because a longest overexpanded period on the 4-hour chart is pretty much the same thing. It's the same pivot, right? It's the same definition of trend if you look at the 1-hour chart and go to the 4-hour chart, right? Let's just work with me here, okay? And we're on the 4-hour chart, and our longest overexpanded period is 225, and we multiply it by 4 and go to the 1-hour chart. It's the same thing. Roughly the same thing. There's some variance because of the compression look back, but you know, we're getting the right readings. All right, so like the difference of the data you gave me versus what I've showed so far is this pivot is here and the 225 is here, right? It's a 2% difference. It's fine. So, what now? All right, let's go to the 1-hour chart again. All right, longest overexpanded period is 100. So that means because price entered this band, it cannot leave this band until 3:08 p.m. turns green for the 100 value. So that's how we caught this long position right here. Now, in theory, we can short the top edge of this band, but because we're about to turn green on 3:08 p.m. for our longest overexpanded period, you know, the condition's going to break down pretty quickly. So while I did go to sleep with a sell order right here and a stop loss right here, I'm just going to cancel it, because if we actually do go up, it's likely we'll just test it and then break out. It's a possibility. And it's not because price will trend up. Hold on, I forgot to water my bamboo plant. Just going to get a quick squirt in there. Good boy. All right. I was kind of looking at it. It was completely dry. Sorry. ADD. Yeah, it's not that price has a reason to trend up above. It's just that there's nothing stopping it from doing so, which is neither something I would bet on or bet against. It's just kind of a condition that's there and something I have to deal with. So, what then? Nothing. You know, there's good news though. If Bitcoin goes sideways, which apparently it is, altcoins recover drastically. So instead of playing Bitcoin right now, we should be playing altcoins. I'm going to say this because I believe it. Pretty much any altcoin in an oversold condition right now will recover as long as Bitcoin doesn't see trend resumption, which is, I mean, it's a parabola. Again, I don't want to bet against it. But, you know, if we look at the daily 3.2 standard deviation, it's a hard pivot for compression. Right? When we tag the 3.2 standard deviation, compression follows. We tag it, compression follows. We tag it, compression follows. Like, trend resumption during periods of overexpansion, it's less probable because there's low potential energy and you're already touching an extreme value, which is only relevant if you have excessive distributional width. And in this scenario, we quite clearly do, right? The higher wave PM reading for that distribution, the more reliable your extreme values will perform. Right, that's what a lot of people don't understand about oscillators. Overbought and oversold. Let's load fucking RSI. Sorry, god damn it. I haven't cursed in ages. I get passionate about these things. All right, RSI, Relative Strength Index. Let's boogie. I'm going to show you the secret. Okay, overbought only matters if you have a wide distribution, if you have a wide data set. So think about this. We can visualize this quite clearly with Bollinger Bands. All right, this is why people rely on the dogma of overbought and oversold without even knowing what it does. It's embarrassing. And we're going to set the RSI to a 23 period just arbitrarily, because why not? And we're going to use a distribution to represent it as 2. Okay? Cool, 23. So, it's all about data set. Bollinger Bands are really good at representing the size of a data set, right? So think about this. You see how tight this Bollinger Band is right here? Oh, goodness gracious. Right, it's tight. Not because it wants to be. It's tight because for the past 23 candles, and watch this. Right, so from here to here, 23 candles, price has not moved at all, relatively. So if you have a very tight relative range, right, where are outer standard deviations going to be? Well, they're going to be close, right? Because you have a thin data set, your extremes of the data set are very close as well. So think about this. If you have a classroom of students and everyone is between 5'5" and 5'6", if somebody who's 6 foot walks into the room, they're going to be the extreme of the extreme. Okay? So, what happens if you repeatedly add professional basketball players to the room? your data set is going to expand, which means you're going to need larger extreme values and taller people in order for them to be considered the extreme value. Why? Because the average of the data is expanding. Because you're getting a larger data set with a wider variance of data points, it means you need a greater percentile change in order to get the same extreme value, in order to get the same overbought or oversold signal. So watch this. We're going to look at the daily chart on Bitcoin. Okay? You're going to like this. Okay. And let's do the 200 period now. Let's do the 100 period. Why not? Okay, RSI is not meant to be used like this, and it causes problems, but bear with me. I'm actually going to switch it to CCI because it would make more sense if we're going to compare CCI and Bollinger Bands for overbought and oversold. Cool, 100 period. And yes, I know I have a CCI up here. Just leave me alone. So, watch this. All right, so you see this range here? You see how this is like a 40-50% range? So let's measure back 100 candles from here to here. Okay, 100 bars. Okay, so do you see the amount of price variance between this candle and this candle? It's really big. A lot of price divergence. There's a lot of volatility. Oh, goodness. Look at me popping out those important terms, right? There's 38% drawdowns. There's 43% draw-ups. Retracements, sure. Right? So it's a volatile range. Do we get any really overbought or oversold signals in that range? Not really. Right? Everything stays together. Okay? So, do you understand this? So, from here to here, we saw a 42% drawdown, and it read a value of negative 150, roughly, on the CCI. Okay? Now watch this. For the previous 100 candles here, price hasn't moved at all, relatively speaking. Right? Price just compressed, it got tight, that's great. So what next? So, watch this. We talked about how there was a 43% drawdown over here, and then there was only a drawdown to 160, negative 160 on the CCI. So watch this. Over here, we have a drawdown of only 10%, okay? This candle's a 10% drawdown. And then it results a value on the CCI of negative 320. Answer me this. Why does percentile move that's over less than a third of the size, right? Because 10% is a smaller percentage change than 30%. So why does the 10% move generate a larger extreme value than the 38% move? It's simple. It's because this was a tighter data set. So people don't account for distributional width. They don't account for how wide their data set is, and therefore they can't tell if their signals are valid or not. They're ignoring the most important variable in their oscillator. It's ridiculous. So think about this. How many people called Bitcoin oversold here, huh? A lot. Well, in reality, it's not oversold. This is defining state of trend. So think about this. If you repeatedly add basketball players to your room of kindergartners, for instance, the average height is going to get taller repeatedly, and the distribution is going to expand, right? Those extreme values you're introducing don't imply a return to the center of the data set. It implies that the mean and the overall data set is trending towards new center of information. So when you repeatedly get extreme values like this, it's not oversold, it's trend. And that's something people don't understand. And hopefully now you understand this. Because if I see one more goddamn post of somebody calling something oversold, I'm going to lose it. And if you ever see a post that says oversold, link them to this video, please. So if there's a condition where you have a very wide distribution, your room of 7-foot tall basketball players and someone who's 10 feet tall comes in, that's this. That's a true outlier. Thank you. Woo. That was fun. I'm giving away too much free information. I need to sleep more. And hydrate. Hydrate and sleep. Actually, I do pretty good on hydrating. I'll be honest. So, what do you guys think of that, huh? Comment. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have any questions about the rant I just made? This is my cute summer hat. Okay, let's check the YouTube comments. Let's do it. This one. Okay. Hey, Vlad Shark. Hi. Litecoin USD, please. Okay. I got an email today at 4:30 a.m. that said Litecoin was in a bullish mean reversion condition. So there's your analysis for the day. I'm kidding. Let's actually pull it up. Litecoin, Bitcoin, LTC, BTC, cough. This is a bullish mean reversion condition and it's active. Let's define it. It's kind of hard. The readings are sloppy and converse, but let's check that alert that went off, shall we? God, I wish I could delete my old alerts. I could just delete all of them. And that's not a good idea, though. Oh, they're alphabetical? Okay. I just want to make sure I knew what I was doing. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I actually need to look it up. What was the signal I got today? It's just called Litecoin long, and I didn't write down why. What a nuisance. It's kind of hard to define the actual long store expanded period just looking at this. Because you have a bearish mean reversion here. Try the 6-hour chart. Maybe that consolidates the readings a bit better. This does actually. Okay, I can use this. We want to take a look at, thank God, 225. It's so convenient. Everything's set to 225 today. It's bizarre. All right. Set up these values. 22 to 25. 22. Cool. Let's check it out. Okay. Your 1/10 period is. I would take this as a short op. Over a long position, right? Because think about this. this is our pivot for mean reversion, and while it looks like we're crossing inside, we can use... I would actually just bet on the rejection. Right, because our actual long entry signals are far away. So think about this. If we have the bullish mean reversion condition active, alright, our entry signal to gain access into that position is 13% away, and the other one is 27% away. So in order for our lowest risk entry, price needs to descend 13%. And if we're defined in a downward trend with, you know, an apparent activation of the mean reversion condition, it's more in your interest to short it than long it. Oh, I have the alert log down here. Duh. Definitely click delete all inactive, but it deleted them all. I am annoyed. Okay. Checking out these comments, Ed. Bro, that hat. It's not the Jesus on Discord. Hi, George. See, I knew you were actually George and not the Jesus, so lucky guess, I suppose. Vlad Shark, yes. Yeah, I can do the accent if you really want me to, but it is... I don't know. I need to, like, set up voice changer first so I get all deep and nice. All sexy for you. Litecoin, I did that. A cat with this Bitcoin comments. I did that. Link USD, okay. I don't think you can short link anywhere, so I don't know what the point of this is. What, we can define retracements on the 1 minute chart? You want to try? 5 minute would be better. You know, trying to catch the swing low here isn't the worst idea. I'm going to use good risk management. That super obvious trend line that everyone's trading, let's try it a bit better. I want them 3 points of contact. Guys, don't forget that trend line's break. Alright, if you have a broken trend line, draw it. Okay, you know what? We have 3 points of contact. It's super obvious, okay? 1, 2, 3 points of contact. Alright? What does that mean? People enter longs here, and they enter longs here on the trend line. So, what happens when the trend line breaks? Okay? Let me take a wild guess where everyone's stop loss was. Here. So, this is so perfect. Guys, what do we get? Just look at this. When we have a broken trend line in a super obvious uptrend on a trend line with 3 points of contact, what happens? Huh? Any guesses? We see a small bearish volume spike. We see an initial large red candle drawdown, followed by repeated dojis, and then bullish reversal. The definition of a stop hunt. Right, you have a bunch of people all betting on the same information. The trade goes against them. Somebody scoops up all their orders so they can have a larger position in the remaining uptrend. Like, it's so clean. Okay, watch this. I would not be surprised if we were traced down to a trend line, broke below it, and then continued the uptrend. Of course, we're better off just defining actual mean reversion pivots. We're looking at the 125 here. Which I think is an active condition, yeah. Hey, right on that mean. That's good. You can try along here if you want. Yeah, just take the scalp here, just sell below. Just check out how volatile this is so you don't screw yourself. You're gonna need a 4% stop loss. If you're comfortable with that, try it. Just be aware of the risk. Let's define the mean inversion pivots over here as well, just so we know that we have consistency. Alright, we've got the 350 over here. I'm just going to show what the 350 looks like. Yeah, okay, that's not even touched because trend just defines itself and sustains. Over here we have the... '90 period. So we'll check that as well, see how it performed. Color me damned. Alright, we activate the mean inversion condition, and we bounce directly on the mean. Huh. That's nice. I mean, we still trade laterally as defined by it in the long run, but the scalp entry right on the mean apparently is a good position. And then we could have just defined the direction of our next trend based on the expansion of the previously long still expanded period. Well, it's clean. I admit, that's clean. So over here, where we have the 225, is that right? Is that what I said? Oh, 125, excuse me. Right, so over here where we have the 125 longest overexpanded period, bop, bop. I'm just going to call it LOXP from now on. Hey, man. I would not be surprised if we retraced up to this value here, saw rejection down to the bottom edge of the LOXP, and we just compressed like this. Then whichever way we saw continued expansion is the direction of the next trend. So I guess your options for long positions on Link are going to be right now the mean itself, with the take profit here, partial take profit, and then you could bet on trend continuation if you want to. Or your other position is the bottom edge of the LOXP, which is going to be more probable. Overall, nice chart, actually. I'm okay with trading this. Wait, are there two Georges? There are two Georges. That's a teal George. This is a blue George. Oh my god. Wait, no, I just had them highlighted. Never mind. Color changes when you highlight them. Oh my god. Okay. John Harris is Litecoin U19. I kind of already did that, right? I think a short right now is good. And then you just want to get that long on the swing low if you can. Okay. I don't know. That's good enough for me. This song's annoying. Shoo! I can use ACAT, why not? Here we go. Show me what you got. It's gonna take a second to load. So no mean reversion condition quite yet. I'm going to keep an eye on this chart, though, here in the 15-minute, because if we activate the condition and then get our roll down, I'm totally going to short it. No doubt about it. Alternatively, you can just bet on trend and take the long here. So both are viable. You know, I wish I could minimize this in the data window without hiding the indicator itself. Which is too bad. Oh, I can actually just... Oh, I know what to do. Never mind. I wish I could move this to the top. Anyone know how? So I don't. Well, no new comments for me to analyze coins. I've been streaming for... I don't know. I have no concept of time. Oh wait, I can check. Ooh, 36 minutes, wow. Whenever I see PHB, I always think Phenibut. I'm like, that's not right. Whenever I drive somewhere, all the license plates I see are like, half of them are coin names. That's super annoying. Like seeing BTG or OMG or VIB or VIA or VET or TRX. Man, it's a nuisance. What an unaesthetic chart. That's going to be it for today. I'm happy with the charts I looked at. That's it. You folks have a beautiful day, okay? Make sure you like this video. Do subscribe to the channel so you know when I come live. Hit the notification bell as well. Just about every day at 1 p.m. roughly, I go live. I try every day at 1 p.m. Just put it like that. So, do tune in. It's worth your trouble. Literally. 'Cause you might make money off of something I say. No guarantees, just kind of a thought. Passing thought. Have a good one. Ciao.